Today, in this video, we are going to explain sectors of the Indian economy. Economic activities result in the production of goods and services, while sectors are the group of economic activities classified on the basis of some criteria. The Indian economy can be classified into various sectors on the basis of the nature of the activities, working conditions, and ownership. On the basis of the nature of activities, we have three types of sectors. Number one, primary sector or agriculture and allied sectors. Number two, secondary sector or manufacturing sector, or it is also known as industrial sector. And third, tertiary sectors or service sector. On the basis of working conditions, economic activities are classified into two groups. Number one, organized sector, and number two, unorganized sectors. And finally, on the basis of ownership, the economic activities are number one, private sector, number two, public sector, and number three, private public partnership. All activity was in the primary sector during early civilization. After the surplus production of food, people's need for other products increased, which led to the development of the secondary sector. The growth of secondary sector spread its influence during the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century. Thereafter, a support system was needed to facilitate the industrial activity. Certain sectors like transport, finance, insurance played an important role in supporting the industrial activity, not only industrial activity but also the agricultural activity. Now we'll explain different sectors under the nature of activity. First is primary sector. In primary sector of economy, activities are undertaken by directly using natural resources such as agriculture, mining, fishing, forestry, dairy, etc. It is called so because it forms the base for all other products. Since most of the natural products we get are from agriculture, dairy, forestry, fishing, it is also called agriculture and allied sector. People engaged in agriculture activities are called red collar workers due to the outdoor nature of their work. Secondary sector. Secondary sector includes the industries where finished products are made from natural materials which are produced in the primary sector. Industrial production, cotton fabric, sugar production, etc. are the examples of industrial sector. Hence, it is the part of a country's economy that manufacture goods rather than producing raw materials. Since this sector is associated with different kinds of industries, it is also called industrial sector. And people engaged in secondary activities are called blue collar workers. And examples of secondary sectors are small workshops producing pots, artisans production, mills producing textiles, factories producing steel, chemicals, plastic, car, food production such as brewing plants and food processing, oil refinery, etc. Next, we have tertiary sector or service sector. These sector activities help in the development of the primary and secondary sectors. By itself, economic activities in tertiary sector do not produce a good, but they are an aid or a support for the production. For example, goods transported by trucks or trains, banking services, insurance services, finance services providing credit, etc., are under the tertiary sector. It provides the value addition to a product same as secondary sector. And these sector jobs are called white collar jobs. Now let us see how these three sectors are independent, interdependent to each other. Three sectors: primary sectors, secondary sectors, and tertiary sectors. We know the primary sector activities, secondary sector activities, and tertiary sector activities. Let us take an example that primary sectors produce sugarcane. This sugarcane is used as raw material in sugar industries. The sugar industry under the secondary sector. But to transport the sugarcane from primary sector to secondary sector, it needs the help of transport. It also needs banking, insurance, finance, storage, and others support services that are provided by the tertiary sector. Similarly, the tertiary sectors provide services to the primary sectors: transport, banking, finance, insurance, and other services. Another example, we can say that the primary sector provides raw material to the secondary sectors. So secondary sectors depend on primary sector for its raw material. Primary sector depends on the secondary sectors for its agricultural implements such as tractors, harvesters, threshers, pesticides, fertilizers, etc. Secondary sectors depend on the tertiary sector: transport, banking, insurance, storage. Primary sectors depend on tertiary sector for different services: transport, banking, insurance, finance, etc. So these three sectors are independent to each other. The service sector provides services to both the sectors, primary sectors and secondary sectors. Next, how do we count the various goods and services and know the total production in each sector? With so many thousands of goods and services produced, and it is very difficult to count the number of units produced of all these goods. So we consider only the value of goods and services to calculate the total production. Let us take an example. If 10,000 kgs of wheat is sold at rupees 10 per kg, then the value of wheat will be 1 lakh. The value of 100 cars at rupees 10 lakh per car will be 1 crore. Similarly, the value of goods and services in the three sectors are calculated and then added up. But here, one thing we have to remember, that there is one precaution we need to take. Not every good or service that is produced and sold needs to be counted. We only include final goods and services. For example, a farmer who sells wheat to a flour mill for rupees 10 per kg. The mill grinds the wheat and sells the flour to a biscuit company for rupees 15 per kg. The biscuit company uses the flour and things such as sugar and oil to make biscuits, and it sells entire biscuits in the market to the consumers for rupees 100. Biscuits are the final goods. That is, goods that reach to the consumers, or the goods which are for final consumption. Now the question is, why are only final goods and services be counted? There are another type of goods is intermediate good. Intermediate goods are used up in producing final goods and services. The value of final goods already includes the value of the intermediate goods that are used in making the final goods. In our example, the value of 100 rupees for the biscuits, that is final good, already includes the value of flour 15 and the value of value of flour, sugar, and other things which are used in making the biscuit. Now let us know how will you calculate the total production of the sectors. The value of final goods and services produced in each sector during a particular year provides the total production of the sector for that year. And the sum of the production in the three sectors gives us gross domestic product. So the gross domestic product refers to the value of all final goods and services produced within domestic territory of a country during a year. There are two other goods that we have explained. Final goods. Final goods are those which are ready for final consumption or used for investment purpose. For example, bread for household consumption, machine for manufacturing units. The value of final goods and services included in the estimation of GDP. Intermediate goods are those which require further process of production, or these goods actually do not cross the production boundary or purchased for resale in the current year. For example, raw material, sugarcane for sugar industries. The value of intermediate goods are not included in the estimation of GDP because its value has already been included in final output. Moreover, if we include the value of intermediate goods, then there will be problem of double counting. Means the value of GDP will be overvalued. Then calculate GDP. We can calculate GDP by taking only the value of final goods and services. Another method to calculate the GDP is value added. Means we'll consider the value added by each sector. We'll add the value added by each sector and we'll get total value addition. That's all.